which according to some poll is welcomed by 3/4 of Americans. So we want to get some point to it about the other quarter. In that quarter that is not likely to like the speech what's in there, right? So once again, I would like to invite you to give us your overall take about the speech piece.
Well, the thing that really stood out, Jack, is that you say, yes, the speech by the viewers and by America in whole was quite well received because it's a pro-American speech. We're having a stronger economy. We're having lower unemployment. More people are getting jobs. Jobs report came out today, 200,000 new jobs, non-farming jobs. They expected 180. That's even better. But in the Congress there, the Democrat section in the audience went through the entire thing without a clap, which
they did stand up in ovation for some time, a few times, yes.
Well, whatever. But I will say that the soul of the leadership in the Democratic Party was very clearly evident that there is no soul. Even when the Black Caucus, when Trump announced that the African American unemployment rate is the lowest in history, not one in the Black Caucus clapped. Now, if they can't support their own people, we're all our own people, by the way, so I don't have any division in my mind, but then there's something wrong with their character. And it's very, very disappointing, and they shamed themselves. All around the country, they shamed themselves by ignoring the president in the way they did it.
Let us start this whole conversation with appraisal first.
Yes, sir.
Not criticisms to start with, right?
I wasn't criticizing Trump.
Whatever. Yeah. I don't think that we would start it with a criticism to whoever. Just say how likely, talking about 3/4 of the viewers, of the American viewers, like it.
Right.
Why and how, please?
Yeah. Well, why? Because it was an optimistic assessment of the state of the country in the direction in which we are progressing. And so on all of the areas, we're trying to get the money to enhance our military, which we really need. If we're quite weak as a result of the 8 years of the previous administration diminishing our military powers. Jobs. Busy hands are happy hands. People are working again. Okay, and also the beautiful recent news is the average rate of pay raises, which was like 0 for 8 years, is like almost 3% now. Now that's huge because, say you're making, 3% is a lot. You're getting more. You combine a pay raise with a lower tax rate, you're going to have a 5 or 6 or 7%, something like that, cash flow increase in your lifestyle. That's beautiful. So in the president, he's happy in overcoming the resistance that he's facing that is incredibly immoral and unending.
I personally support the tax cut.
Absolutely.
So that's why I agree to your comment. For my last paycheck, I did see some difference in the numbers.
I have no paycheck, so I don't get to see a difference.
Not a very big, but
No, I bend over for a dime.
Yeah, something for a dinner or two or something like that,
good.
Right?
It's good.
Not bad, not a bad thing.
It's not crumbs.
And if you accumulate it for a year, though, you're talking about a big chunk, right? Anyway.
And when you pay your taxes this year, it's a lower rate.
Compared to the amount you make for a year, well, it's not that bad.
It's good.
I support that.
Yeah.
How about that? You and I, let's do this. I want to pinpoint those areas that I feel not very much in agreement with.
Great.
How about that?
I love it.
Okay, now, first, about a call, America First.
Okay.
Right? He says that America first does not mean that we are alone.
Correct.
Right?
America first, but not alone.
We want you to join us.
Right.
Well, not exactly his quote, but join us in the party.
Yeah.
Join the party to get your people, your whatever
business.
country
Yeah.
first. something like that.
He wants all the leaders to put their country first or their company first. They should.
I believe that you are a man of philosophy. You're also a man of words, right? There are two calls in this human race. One call is everybody put himself or herself first.
Well, not many.
Hoping that everybody, whole world, the whole human race, do the same thing. Everybody put himself or herself first. And the other call, 180 degrees, is that everybody thinks of others first.
Those are extremes.
How do you philosophically find the difference, please?
Well, philosophically, I think, number one, most people put their family first, ahead of themselves. I'm very happy to sacrifice my life for my daughter, or my grandkids, or whatever, or people in certain circumstances that deserve to survive at my loss. I'm happy to do that. So I'm not selfish and self-centered. You know, a lot of people are, which is fine. Everybody's different. And I don't think there's too many people that think of themselves as a complete loser on planet Earth and don't admire themselves. Hopefully we all try to at least respect ourselves. If not, then we need to make life changes, okay? So self-respect is important. But self-respect has to be earned by living a lifestyle that has value and quality.
Yeah. There's a difference in between, to me, there's a difference in between self-respect and putting self first.
Oh, totally.
You respect yourself doesn't mean you put yourself first, always first.
No, sacrifice is a very important word, okay? Sacrifice and putting other people in
That's
the proper,
exactly the answer. I believe that in your book, 100 Words to Live By, Life Simple, you put a lot of lines
I do.
explaining the word sacrifice.
Right.
So if everybody puts the word myself first, is there any concept or anything of sacrifice?
No, if you put yourself first, number one, if you put yourself first, there'll be no volunteerism in America. Why volunteer when you just want to focus on yourself and enjoy yourself? So there are some people that are narcissistic, okay?
As a nation, though, in the world, in the international family, or international community, a nation who wants to play, number one, the leader, the boss. And in the meantime, throw a slogan out there saying that myself first. Do you think that makes sense?
Well, number one,
or do you think that fails to make some sense?
There's no other country on planet Earth that has the freedom and opportunity for freedoms that we have because of our Constitution. There are others that are run with some freedoms, but in very different ways, okay? More centralized government. That's what our Democrats want, is centralized government and making the decisions for individuals. But America has the greatest opportunity for individual liberty. Liberty is a word rings in my mind all day.
I'm only asking one question, that for a nation in the world, in the international community, who plays the leader, to make the call, said everybody, well, I make myself first, you guys go ahead, make yourself first. Is that a good call when compared to every nation should consider or think of others?
We do think of others. There's no country on planet Earth that has the foreign aid, much of which I disagree with, like America does, in giving money away to these less fortunate places, some of which are absolute enemies, like Iran.
Yes, we do, of course.
Yeah.
Yes, we do, of course, yes.
Yes, I think it's there is no country more generous and aware and caring for the troubles of other people.
Is there a contradiction in between what we do, what we have done, what we did, and what we will do, and the slogan?
Well, President Trump just said, I'm not sure if it was in that speech or what, but he said that, why are we giving money to our enemies? And so I hope we're not. At the United Nations, we had 169 countries or something that voted against naming Jerusalem as capital of Israel. And he said, they're not our friends. I don't want to give my money to our enemies. I don't, okay? I will. You guys can disagree with me, no problem.
That part makes sense to me.
We need to shrink our
Giving
government.
money to the enemy
Is foolish.
right, is foolish,
Yeah,
right?
it's foolish.
To encourage them to attack you. How about our friends? How about their friendly community, right? So we want to think of each other. But as a matter of fact, what we are doing is exactly on the contrary of the slogan. If we have been thinking of ourselves first, will we do anything to other countries? Yet we have done it.
Oh,
all right.
Sure.
Am I right?
Yeah, but we would do things for other people. Because if we have our strong economy, we have our freedoms, and we are able to afford to help other people, that's fine.
All right.
Now, during the Depression, when we had like a 60% unemployment rate or something, we were not giving out a lot of foreign aid. Our aid was domestic aid. We had to help ourselves, keep our people alive.
Anyway, I believe in my eye, or the way Donald Trump expressed his concept of America first, putting America first. Well, as a concept, it may not be that wrong as a call to be made in the State of Union address. Though
I believe so.
I would say that's not so appropriate.
Okay, and we disagree 100% on that.
All right, that's my take.
I'd say it all day long.
I have lots of points. We have to move on.
Okay.
Let the difference remain. Second thing is that he mentioned about the opioid pandemic.
Yeah, it's very, very
Right.
incredible.
Okay, now, and he even quoted some numbers: 175 deaths per day. That is equivalent to 7 deaths per hour.
Right. I remember
Which
that.
are true, because we at the show did the study ourselves, even before him, 2 weeks before him.
Yeah.
We came to the same number that I agree with.
Yeah.
Same number, exact same number. Right. However, in the study that both he and I went to, major part of the study talks about the big pharma, how the big pharma,
Big pharma, yeah.
big pharma, the big pharmaceutical industry,
Right,
the big
right.
farmers are dealing with the distributors, who in turn making deals with doctors
Right.
to come on prescribe.
I absolutely,
Right?
yeah,
So
absolutely.
that is
The doctors are
that
complicit.
is a money-driven pill mill.
Right.
Right. He failed to tackle on that issue. Would just say, drug being abused.
No, actually, he has tackled it. He has said that one of his priorities is to reduce the prices for prescription medicine. And he said, we'll reduce it a lot. So he's very aware. It's one of his focal points. But yes, you're exactly right that it's a total tragedy. I don't know how it happens. Why hasn't it happened to me? People get sucked into these things and the use of pills without even knowing what the dangers are.
Compare the sizes of the problem.
Yeah.
Problem
It's
number
huge.
one, we have those drug addicts who relied upon those drugs, right? Accidentally, they die because of overdose. This is problem number one. Problem number two, there's an undercurrent going. The big farmers, the big pharmaceuticals, in connection, in collaboration with distributors, who in turn with the doctors to push sales of the drugs that cause the death of. Should that, when compared, be a bigger problem than the drug addict itself?
Well,
As the President of the United States, do you think he would tackle at least that part of the problem also?
I believe he will, and see, there's recreational addiction, and then there's medicinal pharmacy uses.
Understand?
Yeah, and so it's such a big problem that yes, how do you change the culture maybe of pharmaceuticals? No, I don't think they're evil intentionally. Some are, okay, but
the money driven for the profit.
Well, but I still don't really believe most people, to make a buck, want other people to die. Now, there are some people.
No.
Well, but there are some people that are willing to do that.
Yeah, there are, but
are.
the majority might be
Drug
saying,
pushers are.
yeah, just they push the sales for the dollars.
But don't forget, there's just as many drug pushers. I have
I'm
no
talking
numbers.
about a president of the United States at the moment of making his State of the Union address, though, and especially at the moment when the subject is already mentioned, why wouldn't he go ahead one more step to tackle the problem of our big pharmaceutical industry? They are the one pushing the sales. They are the one got the stuff on the street.
That's why he said, and just very recently, not in that speech, that hey, the prices of prescription drugs are going to go down. He's fighting the pharmaceuticals. And guess what? He said the prices of the pharmaceutical stocks all went down about 2 to 3%.
It is the speech I'm talking about.
Right.
I'm talking about in the speech. In the State of Union speech, the State of Union address, he did not he failed to mention it.
Well, let me say this. It went 80 minutes and 22 seconds. It was a long speech primarily because a lot of clapping, okay?
He mentioned everything.
Yeah.
He mentioned everything, every aspect, every major aspect.
Yeah. Well, I think he is focused on pharmaceuticals.
I understand. I totally read your mind, and I do agree with you. If he omit the whole subject, the whole pandemic itself, it's even okay with me. It's even okay with me because there are too many areas to mention, right?
There were.
He may omit one area.
There were too many.
There are too many. Okay. Yeah. Now, once that is mentioned, I would rather say go ahead and do a thorough work.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
All right. So, agreement?
No problem.
Agreement or not?
I honor you so much, I can't disagree.
All right, very good. At least we got a one-on-one.
Yeah.
A one-on-one. All right, my dear friends, today with me on the weekly update is my good friend Ken Hemming, a philosopher, a great man, a man of Constitution who I adore a lot for the friendship. And of course, we talk about truth, right? Okay.
We do.
Choose nothing but the truth, right?
Right.
So we got a disagreement, and we got one agreement, so it's 1-1. All right, so stay with us. We'll be right back, please. Hello, dear friends, my lovely audiences, my dear fellow Americans. Welcome back to the show. Jack Chow with Ken Hemming, a bunch of good guys, I believe.
We are.
A pair of good guys who care about America. I believe that my audience do the same thing. That's why we're here talking about it. It is a weekly summary for an update. Mainly, we're talking about Donald Trump, our president, his State of the Union address for this year. To mark his first year of presidency.
Yes.
He has done lots of a great job that even somebody who had to be on the left, now back to the middle, had to say, yeah, not bad.
Not bad.
Such as tax cut.
Right.
Yet we're talking about, as the President of the United States, at the moment when, handpick the problems. When you pick up one, you pick whole. You don't pick up half of it. So now, with me, my dear friend Ken Hemming, a philosopher. I hope he is reasonable. He is very reasonable sometimes, if you convince him. Now,
yes, sir.
On immigration, let's say DACA, let's say Dreamer.
Yes.
How do you comment about his position?
Well, what I love so much is he said Americans are dreamers too, and dreamer is just a foolish word for the reality of the circumstances on people that parents brought the kids over here. Okay, now they average 24, 26 years old. They're not kids anymore. Okay, because they all came before 2012. And I put American dreamers before other people that have come here, maybe not voluntarily because their parents brought them here, but I am not a DACA fan. I do not believe we should have a path to citizenship unless you get in the back of the line and work your way in an honorable way, as all the other people that have waited so long. That you're an expert on, by the way.
All right.
You're an expert on immigration, okay, from personal experience.
I got it a legal way.
I know that.
I got a legal way. I got a right way. I got that long ago, right?
But you know a lot of lawyers too that are immigrant
I know a lot of lawyers
and,
who talk about
and
this.
some of them are willing to
and I know
ignore
lots
the
of
law.
lawyers who are helping people, the needy, or the needy people, right? No, now,
Right.
my question is that I'm talking about Donald Trump's position expressed in the speech,
Yeah.
saying that he will grant 1.8 million.
See, there's four pillars to his program.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, four pillars. One is the wall. We need a wall. Okay, China has a wall. I think it's a pretty big one. Okay, took a while to build. Also, throwing lotteries out to countries where somebody can just win a trip to America with certain protections is pure insanity. Because if you can't vet and know who's coming to your country, you're a loser.
Yeah, we'll come back for that.
Okay, but number three is chain migration. If you've got a cousin four generations removed, okay, in Timbuktu, then we have a little DNA together, so you can get in America.
And then the dreamer.
Okay. And then the DACA. Now, President Trump has gone, and the Democrats are so cast in stone that they have no open mind to even think and appreciate that Trump is giving so much that he doesn't want to give, and the people don't want him to give it. The majority of Americans, 80%, don't want these people as citizens without going through the process, okay? So he's willing to get the nuclear family, which is your parents and your kids and yourselves, okay, and your spouse if you have one, to stay here, have a legal status, and work toward, after about 10 or 12 years, a process that can lead to citizenship. Now, nobody else has offered that.
That is not even what he's described himself. He says that he would grant 1.8 million.
I know that. Yeah.
To them.
Yeah.
Right. That is
because that's the 800,000 that came here before 2012.
That includes the 800,000.
I know that. Yeah.
That's 1 billion extra. Am I right?
Well, no, it's not a billion.
No, 1 million.
Yeah, right.
1 million extra.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yeah.
Originally, you were talking about 800,000
Right.
as the DACA.
Right.
Now turns into Dreamer, the whole thing.
Well, some of those
he
people
says
have
he
kids
will grant. He
in
will
that.
grant 1.8 million.
Right.
Right.
Legal status.
Legal status, which is better. Is it talking amnesty?
That is a form of amnesty, yes. It's
All right.
the equivalent to amnesty.
So that's
if
different.
You have legal status,
That
that's
is
amnesty.
different than your take and my take. To make him number one, make them more legal, and they number two, put them back to the line to make them wait
Okay. Well,
for a reasonable amount of time.
Yep.
I go against deportation, and I go against amnesty right away because it's unfair
It is.
to people. It is unfair.
It's immoral.
Right? So I go in middle. Right? My take is that number one, give them legalization. So okay, you can stay.
Okay.
Right? Now, as to when you shall become a green card holder or whatever, or later a citizen, go back to the line, wait there,
Okay.
like everybody else. All right, that is fair.
Now, do you realize, Jack, this is what I'm going to say is the truth, okay? That the whole DACA thing that was done by Obama was unconstitutional.
No.
It is unconstitutional.
DACA only a term adopted during Obama time, but the
It was
problem
his executive
was
order.
accumulated before. Okay.
He opened the borders,
Take it
Jack.
easy.
He
Come
was
on.
letting,
Take
no,
it
he was
easy.
letting them flow
No.
in here.
Take it easy. You're talking
am
about
easy.
no. Take it easy. All right. You're talking something, right, that had started before Obama time. Only during Obama time, give it a definition or word or name called DACA or Dreamer whatsoever.
During Obama's time, the flood increased of people coming into America illegally.
That's a different issue. We're talking
Okay.
about apples, apples, spade is spade, okay?
Okay.
All right, let's separate them.
I'm a spade.
Right. Okay, you're a spade, I'm an apple.
Yeah.
All right, something like that. All right, we're talking about something, if you say they came here, they are 12, before 2012, right? And they are 17, 18, or over 20, whatsoever.
Well, now they are. The average is 24
now
to
they
26.
are, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now they must be here, before year 2000, and
Well-
that is not even Obama time. So to give the problem to label the problem of Obama time or George Bush time or whoever time is unfair.
From 2008 to 2012 was Obama time.
Yes.
It was.
Okay. So, or if you want to do the sub-labeling, that's different time, different
that's
story.
okay.
I'm talking about not to label it that way, not label it by any presidency. It is a problem of the United States,
You're right.
not even a problem for a president.
Clinton, Bush, they let it slip too. Okay,
Yes.
they absolutely
You're
did.
right.
They all talked about
They all
having
did.
the
They all
wall,
did.
doing
Okay.
the
I
border.
agree. I agree.
They all
I
said
agree.
the same words. And President Trump's the only one trying to do something about
I do
it.
agree. Now,
Yeah. Just
my
like North
whole
Korea, they
point,
just let it
my
go.
whole point, to make it clear to you that I do not agree to give them a punishment, like say deportation, and I will not agree either to give them the privilege of getting some amnesty.
Then what you have to do is you have to encapsulate them, not in prison, but you have to isolate them then and not have any more come in. Because if you don't,
Oh, that's different than another story. We'll
that's
come
a big
back.
story, yeah.
Okay, let's take a break anyway. We're taking care of it one by one. So, my dear audience, just stay with us. We'll be right back, please. Hello, dear friends, lovely audiences, my dear fellow Americans. Welcome back to the show, Jack Chow on the East West with the G&E TV. Today, in the weekly update, we're talking about Donald Trump and his speech at the Union Address, right? The State of Union Address. He made lots of points clear. He made some of the points that I agree with, and some of the points, only a minority of those points that I feel that I'm in disagreement with. So we're talking about one by one. The second disagreement lies to the fact that, number one, I don't think it's fair to give them punishment, Dreamer or DACA, such as to deport them. And I do not agree with him if he would give them an amnesty.
correct.
Right. And what we'll do is that be fair, is that cutting between, first to confirm they can stay here, give them a certain kind of status, right, okay status, and then put them to the tail of the line. There's a long queue there, right? Tail of the queue, wait for a reasonable time, right? So now, it looks to me, I'm going to ask you this question, that this has totally nothing to do with the future wall building. I do agree we need a wall. We can go ahead with a wall. However, for the purpose of getting the money for the wall, bends over, say, I give you an extra $1 million.
Yeah, he's
right?
trying to negotiate. That's what he does.
For exchange.
Right.
I don't think that's a smart way to do.
Well, let me just say this. Like, for example, the Democrat says, we need $20 to $25 billion to build the wall, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And they say, oh, we'll give you 1.8 if you just let all these people stay here and give them status and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's just insulting. It's just pathetic. It's just despicable.
That's exactly the part I say wrong.
Right, and he should absolutely build the darn wall,
Yes.
and then the other comes in.
Of course,
Right.
yes.
So we agree.
All right, we agree. I say, if he really truly believes the wall is necessary, go ahead.
Stick to it.
Just stick to it.
I agree.
Okay, I need the money.
And let him shut down the
I
government
need the money.
because it doesn't
Whatever,
happen.
you shut down government, so you shut down, all
Yeah, go
right?
ahead, do whatever
anyway,
you
I
want.
believe that's right. And for, you need what, 800,000? Okay, go ahead. Here's the 800,000.
Yeah.
Do them,
Right.
all right? And put them back to the tail of the line,
Yeah.
all right? No more extra,
He's
no
giving
more
more than
whatsoever.
I want
Like
to
I say,
give, yes.
It's a spade is spade, orange is orange.
I agree.
Right? So I want to do it that way.
Right. I
So-
agree, totally.
Oh, this
Stick
is
to it, and we're going to stick to it.
This is the first time, only time, you and I agreed upon something without arguing each other.
You know, it's all about security for my fellow citizens. And you look at the crime rates, okay, Jack, on people that have come in here illegally, it's so much higher than natural-born American citizens.
Yeah, this morning I heard that they
unbelievable.
started a campaign to raise money for the officer down, for the fallen officer Boyer
Okay.
of Witter,
Yeah. Okay.
right? Killed by a guy
And that's where my
who
daughter lives.
who was relieved, who was early released whatsoever,
Yeah,
right?
right, right.
And they, of course, are illegal
Yeah.
and so on and so forth, right?
Thank you, Governor Brown.
Yeah, sure.
You're
yeah.
you're accomplice to
Well,
murder.
yeah, we've been talking about this for a long time.
Yeah.
We got to hold somebody culpable
Yeah.
for this.
Right. Early
because-
release, give me a break.
Yeah, because we suffer a lot from it. Now, I agree that it is now different time than before,
Okay.
right? And so we want to make sure our doors are open, but walls are built there. We want to handpick people coming in whatsoever, and that's
Merit system.
That's one thing we want to do.
Right.
However, if you want to do that by giving them amnesty, which makes the whole line unfair, people will rise, will say something. People will say, "Hey, no."
Well, the American citizens will, yes.
Yeah.
And that's what we voted for.
And those that are in line, all of a sudden see that 1.8 million got legalized and got citizenship, and they will
You know, the
go
people
against
that
it.
have come here, say from Mexico and
They will
South
oppose it.
America, that have come here honorably and legally, they don't support it at all. Also, those people are taking their jobs away too. Okay.
All right. Okay. Very good.
That's true.
That thank God we have agreement on this
Yeah,
one. Right now,
absolutely.
let me turn to the wall itself.
Yes, sir.
The wall looks all right so far. Okay, now, if you go into the wall issue, though, you go back, you antedate all the time when he first mentioned. What did he say about the money?
He said Mexico will pay for it.
Aha! All right.
Right.
All right. He said
story's
Mexico,
not over either.
Mexico will pay for it.
Right.
And later, Mexican president says, "No, we're not going to do
No,
it."
the Mexican president and the ex-president Vicente Fox used nasty, rotten, vulgar words to respond.
No.
Low life, no class.
No.
It's true.
I am talking about the fact. Forget the wording whatsoever. That's a different story. That's the other class,
I
right?
recognize
We're
humanity.
talking. We're talking about here.
Yeah.
The Mexican didn't want to pay, which is a fact, right?
They don't want to, but if we get our trade deficit with Mexico improved, they'll be paying for it.
Whatever.
So we have to
Okay.
wait and see.
And then later he says the wall will be self-sustaining and self-sustaining, self-supporting. Well, the wall itself will create the jobs, whatever. The benefit will pay for the job.
Well, there's
Right.
some of that.
That's his revised statement for the job. I mean, for the money.
There's one thing I am worried about, okay,
Mm-hmm.
because some people, I don't even know exactly who, and I don't think it's President Trump specifically, say, oh, well, we need to put on then another tax on gas, and that'll pay for the wall. Well, I'm not for any more taxes, and I don't think the president is either.
Exactly.
It's a
exactly,
scary thought.
Exactly. And that's a very scary thought. That is the evil thought.
It is.
That's an
It's
evil
bad.
thought. California has been taxed
It's
already.
a California thought.
California, yes. California is paying 63 cents more per gallon.
All
All right.
Don't hurt me.
175 per registration already. More.
It's
All
lousy.
right. So I would just pay that. I would just pay mine. Okay.
Yeah.
So that is crazy. We want to go any
It is
crazier
crazy.
than that. Right.
Yeah, right.
So for a wall, we do not even want to go crazier for that with the money.
Yeah.
Just to go ahead and ask the Congress and sit down with the Congress, find out where, well, if there is the 25 billion,
Yeah.
well, give it to him.
Right.
Right.
It
If
exists.
there's none, there's none.
It exists.
Right?
Yeah.
There's none. Well, not to trade with the DACA problem, and not even by giving them amnesty. Amnesty is fair. It's unfair. It's not
It is.
very,
It's
very
unfair.
unfair
It's just unfair.
to do so.
But see, it's all because the purpose, Jack, and you know this is the truth, but maybe you disagree, but the Democrats don't really care about the individuals. They want votes. And if you can bring people in here that are dependent on government, you give them a little toy or something, then they'll vote Democratic. And they're trying to just get so many votes that it just overwhelms America, and those that believe in the Constitution have no chance.
let's be fair.
That's fair.
Regardless of Democrats, regardless of Republican, they all want votes. Am I right?
Not by submitting people, by bringing in people
And
that cannot take care of themselves.
For the vote, they will do anything. They will do anything for it.
The Republicans will not do anything for a vote.
If you give them a green card, they cannot vote right away.
No, you can't. Of course not.
All right,
you're not a citizen.
So whatever they do now will not affect the midterm or even the next presidential election.
Actually, they're talking about giving these illegals a driver's license, and if you have a driver's license, whether you're legal or illegal, you can vote in California.
That's another issue. No.
But it's a big issue.
No.
It's corruption.
That's another issue.
It's a big one.
For driver license agreeing to give them a right to vote, I don't agree.
I don't either.
I don't
agree. It's insanity.
Yeah, it is. It is a crime.
It's hate of America.
It is a crime to do so. We're going to hold somebody culpable for that.
Yeah.
Right. All right. So on that. Yes, my dear audience, is there lots of? Is it I'm improving or he's improving?
You're weakening.
We're seeing lots of common grounds, common grounds, and we found more agreement in this whole area.
Yeah.
To be precise. In one way to explain one more time that to give them the DACA kids and okay to stay is all right. It's humane, and to make them wait to the end of the queue is the other is reasonable. Yeah. Right? You don't want all of a sudden sign a amnesty to give them the right to get into the front line.
He won't do it. Trump will do that.
That's not fair, right?
He won't do that.
All right, good. Let's take a very short moment out. With Cam, time goes always faster.
It does. Too fast.
Yeah. So when we come back, we'll find out other issues, please. Hello, dear friends, my lovely audiences. Welcome back to the show, Jack Chow with Gene TV on the East West Show. Yes, lots of things to talk about, especially when this comes to a weekly update. With me, my good friend Ken Hamming, a philosopher, a good friend of mine, a good friend to the community. And he sticks to what he believes is right. And most of the time, he and I argue, but there are on important issues we do get agreement.
We enlighten each other.
We enlighten each other. We assist each other. And for me at the show, though, I keep him always on the right to make sure here I see a balance.
We're balanced.
Right, balance, right. Here's my weight.
Yeah.
Big weight. I wait for the right side.
Yeah.
Right after the speech, what happens to the Dow Jones?
Well, here's what's happening right now. We're up like 42% since Trump was elected. And now, like today, it was down another 330, but I don't know what it was. That was at 9 o'clock when I'm driving out here. But what's happening now that there was such great news again coming out on jobs, and one of the districts in the Federal Reserve System said we might have 5% GDP growth in the first quarter of 2018, which we're in. But what's happening now then with success, then interest rates start rising. And now the bond market for 10-year bonds, the yield is up to like 2.84%. And what the theory is, when you can have safe bond investments that might be higher than you can get on equity investments, the stock market investments, then the stock market will have less people buying and supporting it, and more people will go into bonds. And so now, because we used to be at like 0.5% in the bonds, the 10-year yield. And so now it's up to 2.84. It gets to 3. That's where it has, as they say, more of a powerful negative on the growth of the stock market. But if the companies with the new tax law, I believe we will have greater returns than 3% for that. So that's there's a lot of dynamics, none of which I'm an expert on, but many of which I can think about and talk sort of intelligently on.
Honestly, I know nothing about the whole stock market.
Yeah.
Right. But one thing I believe as a law almost, whatever goes, whatever drops. Right, it goes up, it drops down all the time, right?
Right.
Well, it's not going rocket high, it's still going. It can't be that way. Right. And the night before,
that's true. It can't go eternal.
Yeah, the night before, I mean, 2 days ago, a friend of mine called me, says, Jack, I called you to let you know if you have any stock, sell them. I said, why you say that? I said, there are two things I want to ask you. Do you know that I don't have any stock? Or second thing is that what makes your mind to suggest me you're selling? And is it gonna be another bubble, another crash or something like that? I really hate to spread the news though, but what has caused that kind of suspicion, that kind of trepidation, call it that way?
Well, you know, over years, the stock market goes up and down, all right?
Which is normal.
We're only 33 days into this year, 2018, and the tax reform has yet to have a full impact, although people now, when they get their checks in February, they're seeing a little bit more take-home pay, okay? I think this is the worst time to sell and get out of the market, because I still think I'll bet you by the end of 2020 we'll be at 30,000, okay? And who knows what. But as our economy gets better, people spend more. And now where there is a bubble, I think, is in the housing market. But now when people are starting making more, you can support the housing market. I look at Zillow all the time, which shows houses for sale in different cities that I select. And I don't know who can afford these houses anymore. In Pasadena, a 1,200 square foot house is $500,000. In fact, the average, I think, now in America is $500,000. And you know, you need two incomes, and they got to be pretty decent incomes to afford that. So I don't know what could sustain the housing market. Okay, but the stock market, I think, will sustain itself with the tax reform, and that over 300 companies now are giving out bonuses.
In history, but looking at your age though, and probably you know something more than I do going back.
I go back.
Has there been a day or time when Dow Jones went to 30,000? No, never, right?
No. The highest it ever was 16,000.
Even the 26 was a record, was that right?
Oh yeah, you kidding me? So was 20. Everyone was getting so excited when we hit 20. When we hit 19, wow, will we get to 20? And it was on TV like every minute of the day, like, are we going to get to 20? And then they were blowing whistles and everything when it got to 20. And then in 15 days, once it went from 25 to 26, just like a rocket ship. It was averaging, 167 a day.
You just say by the end of 2018, things might be even better, right?
We hope so. I hope so, yes. Things happen. Like, for example, we would have even been better if we didn't have fires, floods, hurricanes, and everything. We've had tremendous natural disasters that, in one way, you could say it helps the economy because people have to go rebuild the houses and that, okay? So that does create jobs.
All right, okay.
But it creates trauma,
okay,
too.
Very good, very good. I just a side issue or side note. I just sneak in. Back to Donald Trump, his State of the Union address. I smell that the United States, has an intention of going back to TPP.
Okay,
do you think that's possible? And also, there is a kind of like a call to get out of a UN, United Nations.
Yeah, we won't do that.
And what way will benefit the United States?
Right.
Either way.
Yeah, we won't get out of the United Nations, I don't believe, but I wish it would leave America and go put it somewhere else on planet Earth, okay? It's wasting great space in Manhattan, and there are enemies. Most of them don't like us, because they're jealous. I mean, look, let's face it, I'm jealous of us, okay, living with freedom and that liberty I have in America. But now, so TPP, if President Trump, in his judgment, and I like his business judgment, can carve out a better deal for America, then of course we'd get back in. But the resistance from other countries is pretty overwhelming. So I don't know what will happen.
In other
But
words,
he
you're,
is negotiating
you're
every
saying
day.
that. In other words, you're saying even if the United States decides to go back to TPP,
It will be to our benefit.
there might be resistance from other countries.
Oh yeah, because if we can't negotiate something that the president and his cabinet thinks is more beneficial for America, then correct, then we won't do it. Right.
Okay, all right. You're saying that likely there is a chance that Donald Trump will think about it,
Oh, he thinks about it every day, no question.
and there is also a chance for the other countries to go, well, reject.
Right,
Am
just
I
like
right?
England getting out of the European Union, okay, with Brexit. It's real huge. And I think the impact will bring England, who we love, and they love us, except some of them don't, closer together as trade partners.
Okay, very good. Okay.
Yeah, bilateral trade partners.
What's your comment? What would be your comment to the part that he talks about North Korea nuclear attempt?
Yeah, well, you know, what's happening right now, it's a phony thing that's happening because there's a timeout because of the Olympics coming in South Korea. So we won't know anything. I can't make an intelligent comment until after the Olympics and see what North Korea does. By the way, today, President Trump has several people that defected from North Korea at the White House sharing their stories, sharing their tragedies, sharing their horrors. It's a beautiful thing, and President Trump said on TV today that so many of these people here are in absolute fear for their life every day.
I'm talking about the likelihood about we getting involved to stop that nuclear programs. They stop shooting, right? Now we see China has tightened their restrictions of their export, and China has joined the party of sanctioning North Korea, which will help the situation, give us the moment to get the problem taken care of. Do you think, judging by the words that he uses, he says, we're not going to tell our enemy our plans, right? Something like that.
Of course, only
Remember,
idiots do that.
So, judging by those symbols or those words popping out here and there, though, do you think there's a likelihood that we will decide to do something?
I think China and Russia are not doing enough. Both of those countries have the power,
Oh, China is doing a lot.
but not enough.
China has cut off their trade to North Korea, as I read about 3 days ago,
Well,
and they cut almost down to zero.
we also have film, you know, from space showing in China oil being put into ships that are going to North Korea. So, you know, it needs. I'm positive China would have the power to say, you know,
it is something that you wanna look at both ends, right? There is the end of the nuclear thing. There is the end of the of humanity, right?
well,
Their people needs to eat. Their train needs to move. They need electricity, so on and so forth. Well, there are people you're talking about.
Well, actually, one of the things that people are talking about now, too, is somehow flooding the people of North Korea with information on what's happening in the rest of the world.
Yeah, that's why
and you
China.
get killed
That's
by
why
North
China
Korea.
along the river, build up lots of camps just in case.
Well, but also for having different types of abilities, because the internet is all blocked out there, ways of getting things done to the knowledge of the people in North Korea that they're starving daily, okay?
Yeah. And they don't know why they are starving.
That's right. They don't know that how they compare to the
All
rest
right,
of the
good,
world. They
very
assume
good.
everything's
So
like that.
that's why from China point of view.
Yeah.
Okay, here's this. North Korea has been on depending on China for so long.
Right.
Their system was built that way. So to take the crunch all the way, all of a sudden, that will kill the people. That's China's concern.
Well, you know what?
They want to reduce it slow, gradually.
We will not let North Korea have the nuclear ability to come and blow up LA in New York.
Of course
and if
not.
we have to
Of
blow
course.
them off the
That's
face
why,
of the earth, we will.
That's why I'm asking you,
Yeah.
given the moment when China shrinks, right?
We don't have
when
time.
China shrinks on the economy, on the economical support to of course the consideration of humanity, would that be a moment? Do you think that's why I'm asking you, Donald Trump, will do something?
And we do not have time to spend 2 more years. They are working every day in North Korea to improve their delivery system.
I remember.
Running out of time.
I typically heard him saying that we're not telling our enemies our plan.
Of course we won't.
Right.
Obama did. We don't.
Nah, you're a
Well, he did.
Stop criticizing. All right. That's
Right,
why
it's
I'm
the
asking.
fact.
That's why I'm
It's the
only.
fact.
This is the moment to say that I'm asking you. Do you think he will do something?
We will do something. I don't know what, okay? Because he doesn't want us to know what. I don't want to know what. I don't want them to know what. I don't
that's
want
the answer.
But I will say this, if we are going to do something, I don't think it will be a preemptive thing, but it will be a responsive thing. And also, if North Korea does something that requires some sort of military response on our part, China will know it's coming before it happens. Because we talk pretty closely.
We're on a quite a beautiful communication level.
Right,
Good.
right.
All right. Thank God
No surprises for
thank God for 2 minutes and a half. You didn't mention Obama.
Yeah,
Good.
Well, we're trying to clean up 8 years of destruction.
Anyway, all right, my dear friends, thank you for watching. I believe that there is something good to expect, even though there are little disagreement that we discussed, and there are more to talk about. We still believe hopes are there. Taking the North Korea situation, for example, the peninsula needs peace, the world needs peace, and we want to get involved. So does China, and so does everybody. All right?
We hope so.
Okay. And with me today, my good friend, Ken Hamming. I thank him very much for his time, his efforts, his mind, for having such a handsome face.
I'm so honored to be with your viewers and yourself, Jack.
And to the audience, thank you very much. We'll see you next time.
Love you guys.
Good.
Thanks.